You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
You know, I wish we could find some way to hold people accountable. Free speech is a great idea, but we're in a war.
To make sure the economy doesn't collapse, I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
You're listening to Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Welcome to the program, folks. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. It is Monday, October 30th. So glad to be here with you. I ran into a bunch of technical difficulties last week. I deeply apologize. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm here loud and clear tonight. We're going to cover hashtag Justice for Jane. We're going to cover the new DNC. And I'm going to cover the news of the week and get to some of the polls that I posted on social media on the different platforms. It's going to be a great show tonight. So, early September, an undocumented immigrant crossed the border at the south tip of Texas. She was apprehended by the Border Patrol and taken to a facility that is federally funded for for minors that are caught trying to enter the United States. This girl's been identified as Jane Doe in documents in court. Nearly 45 years after another Texas woman known for a time simply as Jane Roe helped change abortion rights in America in the historic case of Roe v. Wade. It's a Supreme Court decision in 1973 that, for all of us pro-life and crazy people that like to have children that are born, changed the face of the United States. And it was I would say, probably some of the beginning of the demise of our culture. And this case is quietly not really getting much coverage. And I'm really disappointed, as I think it's something on two fronts. It's illegal immigration and it's abortion. Two of the largest and most important topics right now in our world. I mean, in the United States, I absolutely think so. And there's been weeks and weeks of battling, going back and forth. Does she have a right to have abortion? Yes, no, yes, no. But I say no. First off, she's not an American citizen. Second off, why are all these people just demanding to have a baby killed? So Jane Doe showed up at the facility 9 weeks into her first trimester when she learned she was pregnant. And currently, she's 16 weeks. The sad thing about this, and it really has me choked up. When October 24th, because currently she's not 16 weeks. October 24th came. She was 16 weeks pregnant. And the ACLU tweets out, breaking, D.C. appeals court orders Trump administration to stop blocking Jane Doe's abortion. And it gives you a article to the press release, and it goes hashtag justice for Jane. And the wonderful... Okay, that was a lie. I apologize for lying. The disgusting and sad individual, Cecil Richards, the CEO of Planned Parenthood, tweets out, "Good, it's a woman's constitutional right." And I go, whoa. Time out, Cecil. You said, good, it's a woman's constitutional right, and I have two problems with that statement. How do we know that this person identifies as a woman? Maybe this person identifies as a toaster. Sometimes I identify as a toaster. Come on, I'm sticking to the left. You are a leftist, you're a progressive, and you're using pronouns and descriptive words that are not reflective of your values that you are preaching. Second, the Constitution. The Constitution covers United States citizens. As many news reports that have come out, this has been told time in and time again that this is an undocumented immigrant. Okay? That, to me, is clear constitutional right. She is not an individual that receives constitutional rights. She is not. Absolutely not. And when NARAL tweets out, "Wow, the Trump administration is arguing that our constitutional right to bodily anatomy is a burden," you're not helping. You're absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. I find NARAL, I find Planned Parenthood, and quite frankly, I find a lot of the people that are pro-choice that want to murder babies repulsive to me. Because there's many different avenues to go. Okay? In a little bit, I'll get to a personal story that will make you might have tears in your eyes. It's very sad. Okay? There's been many tweets, there've been many articles that are going around about and with the hashtag Justice for Jane. And they actually went in front of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to demand hashtag Justice for Jane. Who's paying for all this? I mean, I have a lot of friends that are Democrats, liberals, and some progressives. The progressives are the ones that are a little bit more difficult to talk with. But whenever all these demonstrations happen, for instance, Occupy Wall Street, the Black Lives Matter, just multitude of different protests, I asked a lot of my friends that are on the left, I said, first question I asked them, I said, do you know anybody that is going up and doing any of these protests? Do you? No. Okay, so, and it's been covered on a lot of other national platforms. It's been covered on Lanterns. It's been covered many different places. I'm making this assumption right here on October 20th, 2017. NARAL tweets out that they're in front of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services with people protesting. These are paid protesters. I'm telling you. 100% that these people are being paid to protest. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I guarantee you that. Because think about it. Next time some of these protests happen, like I said, Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, hashtag Justice for Jane. Ask your coworkers, ask your neighbor, ask your friend. Do you know anybody that's going out and doing these protests? I'd love for you to tweet at me, at Oregon Redskin, with the hashtag CS Radio. I would love to know if you have any friends that are at these protests. Because I haven't met one person that's been at these protests and can prove me wrong. I'd love to be proved wrong on this. That people are taking sick time, vacation time, personal time off from their job to go protest. Because I'll tell you what, I'd shake their hand. I'd tell you, you are for your cause. And I respect you for that. Even though I don't respect your cause, I respect you for being upfront and putting 100% into what you believe. Even if it's wrong, even if it's absolutely disgusting, that's respectful. You can't deny that. And I'm not here preaching, it's because someone goes out and stands in front of DHS and stands in front of the abortion clinics, that's respectful, or the people that blow up abortion clinics. I mean, it's been documented, those are terrorists. They're not ideologues, they're terrorists. And you can get where I'm going with this. Other tweets, Planned Parenthood, reproductive rights advocates demand #justice for Jane. I mean, it's interesting that the leading corporation, they are a corporation, of murdering babies. I like how Dylan on Defenders of American Exceptionalism said, the death mills. Because that's what they are. They are death mills. And if there's a problem, I would love to have Cecil Richards come and debate me. Or the head of NARAL. I'd take any of them. I'd talk to them all day and all night long. I could. Absolutely. Every day. But, I mean, if you just type in #justice for Jane. There is just, I mean, you could just scroll for hours looking at these disgusting people that are, abortion is a right, period. And that's the ACLU. ACLU, let me tell you why that group has been corrupted. It's a leftist front group. The American Civil Liberties Union is a nonprofit, nonpartisan, legal and advocacy organization devoted to protecting the rights of everyone in America. And you guys just sit there, think about that. Protecting the rights of everyone in America. Okay, so why is the ACLU, first off, protecting this Jane Doe if she's not an American? Okay. Rewind. Everyone in America, not American. How silly of me to think like that. Sad. That's what it is. It's very sad. Okay, so she's in America. What about the rights of that baby? Or is it just a clump of cells still? Think about that. Just think about that. It's absolutely sad. It really is. So this personal story I want to tell you with you. I have my youngest, who's 3 years old right now. And approximately about 3.5 years ago, when my wife was pregnant, there was a coworker of mine who was pregnant at the same time, and our babies were due in the month of August around this. My son was born the 19th. I don't remember if she was before or after. It was her and her husband's first child, and they had been trying what she had explained to me, for 7 years. So, I mean, when she told me she was pregnant, I mean, she came in, she was just worn out. And just like my wife was, having a pregnancy in your family it's draining on a body. And what a miracle of God it is to have the ability for a woman to grow a full-term baby in their body. I mean, that's just an amazing thing, in my opinion. So we were going back and forth, and we both work at the school. So she went home for the summer. About beginning of July, a coworker came in and was kind of upset and told me the situation that occurred. She was at OHSU, which is a Oregon hospitals. I don't know what the acronym is for, but it's like the top hospital in the state of Oregon. That's where everybody's taken for situations that are intense. So she was taken because the baby came early. The baby was having all kinds of health issues. She was at OHSU, and she was what appeared to be on the mend, and one of the premier hospitals in the United States. It absolutely is the best in the state of Oregon, no doubt. The best of the best are there, and the baby was was having some kind of health issues, and I can't remember, to be perfectly honest with you. But it was, I remember the coworker sending me a message and saying, "Hey, the baby's on the trend up to get better." And I'm like, "Thank you, God, thank you." A week or two go by, and I get another message that this baby didn't make it. And this person will always has a special place in my heart, because her and my wife were going through the same thing, and we were telling stories back and forth, and I just remember the excitement in this lady's face, because her and her husband have been trying for 7 years to have this baby. So when you're talking about abortion, give me a break. There's people like this, my friend, who would die to have that baby. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
In every rising of the sun, my purpose was to be thankful to be alive. I was even more thankful for the blessings that came with this life, specifically Virdis, my wife. But that came to an end when Aklavane and her minions violently took her away from me. So my new purpose in this life is to gather all the pieces of the Stone's Heart so I can defeat Aklavane and get back my bride. Join me as I travel to new worlds, making new friends and avoiding old enemies. Read more about my story in the first 2 books of the Stone's Heart series, which are now available on Amazon.com in Kindle format. The first book is The Quest for Savitvarda, and that is followed by The Heart of Pagaila. Stone's Heart is more than a fantasy and a sci-fi quest. It's me fighting to get back my precious wife, despite the overwhelming odds against me. Stone's Heart. Join, explore, and believe.
Well, as Republicans have been greeted by those angry protesters at town halls, many Democrats are now simply calling for all-out resistance to everything that President Trump touches.
We are going to dump Trump. Dump Trump.
As long as the president continues down this path, there is nothing Democrats can work with him on.
Let resistance plus persistence equal progress for our party and our country.
So that was the backdrop to yesterday's election of former Labor Secretary Tom Perez as chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Perez defeated the more progressive Representative Keith Ellison of Minnesota in a close race that was also closely watched. Many Ellison supporters made their displeasure clear when Donna Brazile, the outgoing chair, announced the results. Little did they know that Tom Perez was about to announce that Keith Ellison was going to be his deputy chair. Now, with the Democrats in their weakest position in almost 100 years, Perez's first job will be to unite the moderate and liberal wings of the party and then try to lead them out of the wilderness.
And that is what he has not accomplished since February 25th, when the DNC chair vote was. He thought he was a shoo-in since he added Keith Ellison as the co-chair, which, listening to other progressive talking points and hosts say it's never happened before that they can remember back to. So, Tom Perez, who is Tom Perez? Tom Perez is someone that the Democrats say has the privilege of serving in President Obama's administration. He was the head of the Department of the Civil Rights Division, where he led the charge against police misconduct. Oh, thank goodness. Voter suppression, anti-LGBTQ, LMNOP, QRTOS discrimination, and immigrant-bashing sheriff's departments. I'm assuming that's anybody in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. That's just a guess. And then he was the Secretary of Labor, fighting to protect and expand opportunities for America's working people. Man, what a resume. And now he's the head of the DNC. Well, I guess it's better than having Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the other misguided people that were over there. But it's funny that back whenever the election was happening, Keith Ellison was unopposed. He was supported by the Bernie left. And then the Obama establishment cronies pushed Tom Perez in. Even though Keith Ellison had the momentum around the election of the chair position. See, here's the thing that the Democratic Party does not want me to be talking about. Is the complete and utter failure and disarray that their party is in. I mean, that's one thing that's pretty interesting that not many people are covering right now because they're so caught up in Donald Trump's tweets. They're caught up in things they shouldn't be really worried about. I mean, here's a couple things off the top of my mind I'm worried about. Term limits, federal spending, cure for cancer. I can name 1,000 more things that I could talk about other than the things that are going around on the media right now. But Tom Perez made sure to tweet out on October 25th. If you want to know what the new DNC is about, look no further than New Hampshire, a great example of success and investment up and down the ticket. Oh, so that's what you're worried about. You're just worried about elections. You're not worried about really what's good for Americans. You're not worried about what's good for America. You're just worried about padding your resume so you can go off to any city for a year or two, get your nose clear, and run for office. Sounds like it to me. But also that day he tweeted out, Alexander and Murray would reduce the deficit by $3.8 billion and has widespread bipartisan support. Where are you, Mitch McConnell? Another political moment for him to shine in? Because, can you imagine if they saved $3.8 billion off the deficit? We're not talking the debt. We're talking the deficit. Oh boy, we'd be cooking with propane. We would be set. I mean, we are moving. We would be moving that country forward with some things like that. You know, spending's out of control. Political parties are out of control. The Bernie left despises Tom Perez. They are absolutely done with him. And I wouldn't be surprised here before Christmas if he stepped down. Whoa. What's that? Well, I was listening to some progressive talk, doing the hard work for you guys. And I had no idea this little doozy slipped by everybody. It's a article at observer.com, September 7th, 2017. DNC chair Tom Perez accepts side gig as DNC struggles. What? The DNC's struggling? I mean, you've got Tom Perez and Keith Ellison in there just working their tails off. Thought this was the new DNC. Huh. There's something more going on. Like I said, there's a couple parts of the Democratic Party. You got the Bernie left. You have the establishment. You have I would say the establishment include. Oh, there's three sections: Bernie Sanders, progressive crazies, the progressive side. You've got Hillary Clinton's side, and you got the new Obama administration. But we have the new DNC, and don't you worry, we are just we have the right people at it, and the head of the DNC is working hard, but is taking a side gig at Brown University. Perez will lead a study group called Governance and Leadership in Challenging Times, end quote. Interesting. If this is the new DNC and you've heard that clip before, why isn't he putting 100% effort into helping with the DNC? Why does he need this side gig at Brown University? Well, it's like with Van Jones. All this position is, like I said, he will, mark my words, he'll be out of there before Christmas. And they're sending him over to Brown University to revamp his reputation. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz would not have probably been out of the DNC had it not come to light that she helped colluded with Hillary with the superdelegates, and she didn't cover it up enough. Throw in the IT scandal with the, I think it's Pakistani people that are robbing the government, and she was threatening a public figure, a public police officer, I think it was the police chief, that she needed that laptop back immediately. Why did you need that laptop back if it was getting entered into for evidence? There was something on there she didn't want people to know, and that's why she has been awfully quiet, and that's why she stepped down. There is a mutiny going on inside the Democratic Party. But if you listen to Tom Perez, and I know this clip is from Face the Nation back after his election and everything like that, but it's still relevant to this day.
Everything he's done.
Are you comfortable with the Democrats being known as the party of no now?
The Democrats are the party of opportunity and inclusion. We are going to communicate our message, whether it's through lawsuits, like the state attorneys general did to stop the Muslim ban, whether it's through actions yesterday at the polls in Delaware, and hopefully April in Congressional 6 right here in Georgia. And we're going to communicate that message that we are the party that lifts your wages. We are the party that preserves your health care. We are the party that's going to be fighting for middle-class security.
He forgot to mention that they are also the party of death. The party that will raise your wages so you can afford to go to the local abortion clinic. My goodness. So, you know this and I know this, but I'm not sure Tom Perez knows this. The party system is over, my friends. These politicians know that, but they are clamoring on the edge of their seats. Because, just think, tell me, if you were a Democratic voter, and there's nothing, I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. I'll encourage you to vote for someone with principles, someone with integrity. But we live in a country where freedom is what's most important to me. And I hope you know, if you're voting for Democrats and the head of the Democratic National Committee, and beginning of September, a little over a month ago, got a side gig at Brown University, how does that make you feel? And I would tell you how I would feel. I would be like, okay, what's going on with this party? Like I said, you got the Bernie wing, you got the Obama wing, you got the Clinton wing. It is spiraling out of control. It's burning. It is absolutely burning. I mean, Tom Perez is out there talking about we need to get rid of the Electoral College. Okay. Which I disagree with 100%. When are you going to get rid of the superdelegates that cheated Bernie out of the nomination? And you know, and I did, but Hillary was over, what was it, London? It was somewhere. I apologize. I've been watching way too much Democratic and progressive videos that it's all a blur anymore. But she says she beat Bernie by 4 million votes. Oh, okay. So I guess those superdelegates didn't matter. But I'll have a real conversation about the Electoral College with anybody when the Democrats can get rid of the superdelegates, because that is a absolute sham. It's absolutely a way for the heads, the donors, the elite class in the Democratic Party to pick their chosen nominee. And everybody knew it. And if you oh no, you're lying to yourself. You're absolutely lying to yourself, and it's sad because the establishment cronies with Tom Perez and Debbie Wasserman Schultz are absolutely controlling the party. They're controlling the finances, and along with Chuck Schumer. If you aren't going to vote everything for us, you're not going to be pushing out resistance Trump, then we're not sending you any money. We're not helping you get elected. So we'll see. I'll be following up on this. Probably do something in December again, because next week we're going to be covering the elections that are happening November 7th. And I'm going to be following this DNC stuff very, very closely. I'm absolutely interested to see what happens with Tom Perez, especially since he got this side gig at Brown University. And Keith Ellison should have been the head of the DNC. It's funny. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and take a break. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at lanterns.buzz. For great radio, get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Check out Lumberlax. This is a company started by an 11-year-old Kai Talley. He plays lacrosse, and the money that they profit off of the business they use to help less fortunate kids that cannot play lacrosse. He partners with nonprofits to give money to kids that physically cannot play the game due to special needs or illness. This is an amazing thing that he is doing, and he is extremely involved in his community. Take a look at the website, lumberlax.com, or email them directly at lumberlax@comcast.net and order a custom shaft for yourself or someone else. They also do coaches gifts, team sticks. They work with people to do fundraisers and so much more. Please check out lumberlax.com, official sponsor of Common Sense Radio with AJ Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network. You're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. So glad to have you back. So I used to hashtag CS Radio, and I sent out some polls about different things. And the majority of you came back and said you wanted me to cover the news of the week. So that's what I'm going to do. What an eventful week. We got the World Series going on between the Houston Astros, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and what a great thing for the city of Houston. I mean, that hurricane was absolutely devastating. And someone like J.J. Watt, who has a platform like you wouldn't believe. I mean, being an NFL player, I mean, it's absolutely, when you want to talk or you want to send stuff out, people listen to you. And you remember, I was following his support, the You Caring, every step of the way. I mean, I was giving you update after update because I thought it was an absolutely phenomenal thing that he was doing. And what just a great guy he is. He ended up raising $37 million. It's something that he was proud of and something he wanted to do for the city of Houston. And I respect him for that. I truly, truly do. And what just a good guy he is. It's something that city needed. They needed support, and it wasn't they got support from the government, but that's what Americans do. And as Jonathan Dunn will tell you, America's good because Americans are good. And I agree 100% with him. And that really it warms my heart every time I hear that because it's so true. It's so true. So here's J.J. Watt, and here's what he plans on doing with the money that he collected.
It's been nearly 2 months since J.J. Watt began raising money for Hurricane Harvey relief. And on Thursday, he announced his plans for the $37 million he raised. Watt said $30 million will go to AmeriCares, Feeding America, SBP, and Save the Children, and will be distributed over the next 18 to 24 months. The money will specifically be used to rebuild homes, child care centers, and provide food and address health needs for those affected. The remaining $7 million will be set aside for 2018 after assessing where relief efforts stand across the region. Watt ended his statement saying, Houston will bounce back from this and we will rise up stronger than ever.
I apologize, I had that wrong. That was the statement. If you go on his Instagram, because I found it difficult to get the YouTube video, for the statement he released this week about the money. But, I mean, amazing how much money he's spending to help not only houses rebuilt, child care centers, food. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that these people need. I mean, absolutely. What a stand-up guy. Absolutely. So we're going to stay in Houston. I got another story. I got a couple things from Houston, which, I mean, we need good stories from there. We need good stories from Puerto Rico. We need good stories from Florida after the hurricanes. And I'm enjoying following the local stories and the issues like that. There was a young girl, Haley Dawson, who was born with a couple fingers, a deformity. I'll leave it at that. Where they created a 3D printed hand. It's almost like a cover to put over her hand. And she started at the Orioles, my hometown team, the Orioles, that I followed forever. And throwing a pitch at the first pitch of the game there. And her mom wanted to get her involved at more ballparks. And I think what the goal is for her to throw out the first pitch at every Major League Baseball ballpark. And with that said, I think that's a fantastic story, and I think that's awesome, and I hope it continues. But at Saturday's World Series game, she came out and just throws that ball as good as any other seven-year-old girl. I mean, if you can't look at that and get the good out of that, how can you sit there and complain about other things whenever this girl is out there who was born with some issues with her hand, and with modern technology, they gave her not a cure, but they gave her something to help her. And if you just type in Haley Dawson, and it's absolutely, and I'll tweet out and shoot out on Facebook a YouTube clip of it. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. I think it's one of the better things that's happening in America today. And I give the MLB a thumbs up, pat on the back, pat on the rear, whatever you want to do, for setting that up. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. So last story from Houston, and it's from therightscoop.com. It's something that's actually kind of sad. It really is. It involves Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz tweets from the World Series, and a slew of lefties respond like dirtbags is the title of the article. So he sends out a pitcher right behind home plate with his wife and him, and he's in an Astros shirt. They both live in Houston. Right before the World Series. And there's just an insane amount of people that are tweeting at him. And one of the people tweet, if you read the replies to this tweet, you'd think Ted is the spawn of Satan. Actually, that might be a good Halloween costume. Oh, gosh. I mean, then Heidi is the only one stupid enough to have you. Lying Ted. Shut up, Ted. We don't like you. I'm looking forward to seeing your dad's name in the JFK files. You haven't challenged Trump on it. Oh, God. I mean, that's sad. And here's another good one. They're going to lose only because a sleazebag like you supports them. And this one, just like smack yourself in the face if you're sending a tweet like this. A World Series win doesn't rebuild homes, you dink. I thought that was a pretty plain text when he goes, with Heidi cheering on the Astros. Tough loss tonight, but we'll still win after Harvey. A World Series win would be great for Texas. Oh, so that was I apologize. That was Saturday's game. I don't know why I said tonight. Because this is Sunday when I'm recording. And last I saw, the Astros were up 11-. They're up 12-9 at the top of the 9th inning. So they got another run. And I'm going to be biased here. I'm absolutely going to be biased. I hope the Astros win. Oh, I apologize. I lied. It is 12-11, top of the 9th, 2 outs, and the Dodgers are up to bat. Before I lose track, because a little ADD moment. I absolutely hope the Astros, and before the series even started, I was pulling for the Astros, as I think it would be something that would be great for the city. It would be something that the people of Houston could turn their heads and just celebrate, because that city's been through a lot, just like the cities in Florida that were hit by the hurricane. And so was Puerto Rico. I saw an article earlier this week. I can't remember what site it's from. And it was stating how Elon Musk and Tesla helped get power back up to the Children's Hospital in Puerto Rico. How wonderful is that? And I did some coverage on this in prior weeks about how Elon Musk was talking with the governor of Puerto Rico, and how awesome would that be for him to try out the stuff that he's working on so hard and trying to help advance, like battery life, solar panels, on an island that was just devastated by the hurricane. How amazing is that? Update: the Dodgers and the Astros are tied 12-12. It's the middle of the ninth. The Astros come up because they are in Houston. Wow. It was just 12-9, and just a matter of, 5-6 batters, it's tied. I mean, 24 points have been scored in this World Series game. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll go 10, 11, 12 innings. I'm not sure. But at this current moment, it's tied up. And wow. Wow, wow, wow. Go Astros. Another thing, article that's kind of quietly been, I think it was released Thursday or Friday, is the George Washington Memorial in his church. People are wanting to tear it down. Okay, I'm not sure why, because as soon as I saw that, I clicked on it right away, and I looked at that church, and I said, whew. Boom, I remember when I was in high school, because I grew up in Virginia, we took a trip to Mount Vernon, Washington, where, George Washington's property, the grave. We all got to throw a rose on his grave. I thought that was pretty cool, and I remember that to this day. It was almost like a ceremony. I mean, he was the first president of the United States. Just an exceptional individual to lead the Continental Congress, to lead the United States, to lead the Continental Army, to help set the path forward for America. I mean, how can you not respect a man like that? You want to go in and rip the memorial out? First, they came for the Robert E. Lee statues, and I was silent. No, not really. I wasn't silent. Speak up about anything. I'm not afraid. But they came for the George Washington Memorial, and I hope everybody stands up. All my friends, my family, all the supporters back in Virginia are standing up for the George Washington Memorial. I remember seeing the pictures of that church and sitting. You can walk in there and you can sit in the pews that he sat in. I mean, in Williamsburg, Virginia, where when I was stationed in Virginia with the Navy, the southern area of Virginia, Newport News, Virginia Beach, and all that area. I remember taking my wife, because she was from Oregon, and we visited Williamsburg, Jamestown, many occasions, because when will I get to see this again? Because once I got out of the military, we were moving back to Oregon. That was already set. We both wanted to, and I'm glad I do. But you could sit in the pews where he sat in then, and you just sit there and you go, wow, what an amazing piece of history that your experience so there's a lot of stuff going on in this world. We've got the release of the Fusion GPS. And some of the stuff that's coming out is ties to Obama, ties to Republican candidates for president. There's a lot of stuff. And when this gets all rolled out, it's going to be a very, very interesting perspective to be given when you can see that the left, the mainstream media, has been pushing the collusion of Donald Trump and his team colluded with Russia to change the results of the election. But once this Fusion GPS stuff came out, doesn't make you go, huh, they're not talking that anymore. And you know what that is? You just think it's lies. It's politicians lying to you for political gain. Now they're quiet. They're running back to, they're going to give tax breaks to the billionaires, the millionaires. Okay, that's the one thing that all you hear is they're giving tax breaks. So I'm going to pull up Twitter right now. And I saw her name was Kamala Harris. I'm just tweeting out at these people from now on. I'm not going to just sit back and I know, it's just a tweet, but their staff reads those tweets. Like I got blocked by Keith Ellison. You know they're on the edge of their seat. So Kamala Harris tweets out, the budget Republicans just passed cuts Medicaid and Medicare by $1.5 trillion to give a $1 trillion tax break to the top 1%. Typical progressive stuff. And remember, Kamala Harris right now is one of the preliminary, I wouldn't say front runners, but in the running to run for president in 2020. And I bet you every Democrat's going to come out for that. And I tweet back at her, hey, Senator, can you advise me where in the bill and what page I can find that? Did you read the bill? ? And you wouldn't believe I didn't get an answer back. I don't know why. And I don't expect to get an answer back. But wouldn't you think if she's out there spewing her partisan ideology, she would, or her staff would tweet back, okay, it's page 784 of the 1,500-page bill that does 5 things. And here is a link to it. But they don't want you to. They don't want you to know that. They don't care. They want you to prove them wrong. That, that's not. Okay. Well, that's why I tweeted at her. I go, okay, well, what page? Can you show me where in the bill that I can see this $1 trillion tax break for the top 1%? Because if that's true, I don't want to raise the deficit. We're already $20 trillion in debt. Let's end it, folks. Let's end it. Well, do me a favor. Check out Lanterns on iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. And there's a host of other different ways like Lanterns.buzz, YouTube. But I really enjoyed being with you tonight. And you're listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. God bless and good night.